And in one ceremony, I asked the medicine, "Am I with the right woman?" Right. And she turned it around on me and said, "Oh, you think it's about them? Let's talk about you."
Welcome back to the zoo. I got my peeps over here. That's A.K. Lopez. This is Nikki Paris. Who am I? God, have you ever had that happen to you?
Oh, yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
No, you forget your name?
No.
Sometimes I forget who I am.
That's funny. At night, because I've lived in several places in my life. At night, sometimes when I wake up and I look out the window, I forget where I am. I'm thinking, like, what's outside my
that's
window?
happened
And
to me.
I think of like it'll be like the past neighborhood that I grew up in or that I lived in last. I'm like, wait, what neighbor? And I'm like, okay, come on. Yeah, like, this is easy to remember. What's the neighbor? Oh, yeah, that's what's outside my window right now.
Dude, are you always in different places in your dreams? That when you wake
My
up?
dreams are odd, bro.
I can only imagine.
My dreams
What do you dream
My
about?
dreams, I mean, some
Treat
of them
the
are hard to
viewers.
explain. I like the dreams that actually make sense. Like, and it can be very dramatic. Like, I've had dreams that there's like, I look out the window and it's an alien invasion. Have you ever had that?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. I've had dreams that World War III starting, that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, here we go.
Wow.
Those are actually vivid and like cool.
Your dreams
But then
should
I
be a
have,
movie.
yeah, no. But then, and I'm like, man, I wish I could. Then I have some dreams that I can't even explain it. Like it's just like
Try.
reality is just bent and distorted. There's no, but that's where you realize that there's no time and everything's happening at the same time. Reality is actually, everything has happened at the same time. It's actually our consciousness that strings it out chronologically to experience it one moment at a time. So dreams are captivating that. All right, listen, I did an ayahuasca interview with a guy that did a documentary about ayahuasca. His name is Luis Robledo.
That's the topic.
Award-winning
today.
documentary, The Song That Calls You Home. He's an amazing guy. Check this out. All right, guys, I'm here with Luis Robledo, who's a filmmaker behind the very amazing documentary that I was able to catch at a New York Film Festival. It's called The Song That Calls You Home. Luis, thanks for joining me after we got to meet at the festival, the Psychedelic Film Festival, in which your documentary won Best Documentary. And it's about a subject that I've talked about for the past few years, probably ad nauseum to some of the people here at LATV, but I think it's a very important movement, I guess, a spiritual movement, a therapeutic movement using plant medicine. And in your documentary, you're focusing on ayahuasca. So let's talk about what the documentary is about in general and how you came to make it in the first place.
So when I first decided that I was going to make this movie for the spirit of ayahuasca, I had it in my mind that I was going to make something informative that would pretty much just kind of paint the picture of what it is and what the uses are and why it should not be illegal, right? And what ended up happening is that I noticed that when I went down to Peru the first time, and it was such a life-changing experience for me. Like, I cannot tell you how amazing the ceremony, those first 6 ceremonies that I ever did were the most amazing ceremonies. And the thing is that when I came back, I was filled with like just so much, not only just love, but I noticed that it was almost like I was living free of any fear, like fear of even dying. And so what I started to notice is that people around me became very curious about why I was behaving this way. So after some time, my sister decided that she wanted to go down to Peru. So she went down, I think about a year after I went down there, completely changed her life. Then my best friend of 30 years also decided to go down there. What blew my mind is the day that my mother decided to drink ayahuasca. I asked her, why? Why do you want to do this? This is insane. And she said, because I've seen what it's done for you and your sister. And I was just like, wow. And so she went down to Rhythmia and she drank ayahuasca twice. And she had an incredible experience. You know, she will tell you, you know, she let go of so much guilt for different things, you know, that she carried for decades. So that's when I started to really understand that the story is a personal one, you know, and so then it really changed from making something that was just, you know, an educational piece. And I think it works much better this way because I think that even just from a narrative standpoint, I think the fact that you have these personal stories, it involves the viewer emotionally, and then what it allows the viewer to kind of like open their hearts to all of this information, because there is a lot of information in the film, But I think that what makes it easy to digest is the fact that it's kind of, interspersed with this very personal story, and so it's kind of involving both the heart and the mind. And I really think the way the film turned out is the way it was supposed to be. The second time that I was going down to Peru, my girlfriend at the time was supposed to come down with me, and I was very excited to kind of share this with her, but at the last minute she canceled. She decided that she didn't want to go down there. So I went down there alone, and obviously I was upset and hurt that she did not come down with me, and in one ceremony I asked the medicine, "Am I with the right woman?" All right. And she turned it around on me and said, "Oh, you think it's about them? Let's talk about you." And she proceeded to show me that as a man, I was gaining my energy from the women I was with rather than from Source or from God, which is a very hard thing to hear because it makes one an energetic vampire. But she showed me that until I changed that about myself, I would just continue to repeat the same patterns, that the faces would change, but the song would remain the same. I got homework from the mother. She told me in a ceremony that I had to do a celibacy diet in order to get to where I needed to get to. And she said a year. And that night I was like, a year? No, this is crazy, a year. How about 6 months? And then she said 9. I was like, okay. So we settled on 9. 9 months is the gestation period for a human being. So for me, it was like my period of rebirth. The experience itself was difficult because I had been a serial dater all my life. I just couldn't seem to be alone. The moment one relationship ended, I immediately got into another one, and so on and so forth. And I've been doing this since I was like 15 years old, and here I am, a 40-something-year-old man, and like trying to break these patterns, right? So it was very challenging, but what I gained from it was, my life.